Hello, hello, and welcome to the latest installment of the Freaky Fauna Files podcast. Join us, your hosts, the chicken
and the egg,
where the eternal question always remains: which one of us is gonna come first?
Hi, my name is the egg, and we're gonna start a little something new. We have a little mini episode series where we're gonna talk about the animals that are in our own backyard, which is Galveston, Texas.
Mm-hmm. And this may be the first mini episode series we do of this podcast. We may have more moving forward. So today we really are just going to be focusing on the fantastical blue dragon nudibranch or sea slug. And recently, these guys have been washing ashore in Galveston, and it has been causing quite a stir. Like, there's been articles all over saying don't touch them. And it's because not only do these blue dragons look otherworldly, but they also pack a super mean punch.
They're beautiful.
They're very
and
beautiful.
So strange looking.
They're very small too.
They're
but we'll
so
talk about all of that in this episode.
Don't forget to follow us on social media at Freaky Fauna Files for pictures, videos, and updates about everything we're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Tune in to your favorite podcast streaming platforms for an adventure like no other.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and just get right into it, really. So with the blue dragons, I want to start off with their taxonomy. The blue dragon is known as Glaucus, atlanticus, and it has all sorts of nicknames, like the sea swallow, which I think is quite pretty.
Interesting.
And the blue angel is also one that you'll also hear them called. And they are, in fact, part of the nudibranchia or branchia order. So yes, this is my first nudie that I'm going to be talking about on the pod. And
you finally got your nudibranch fix.
I know. And it fits in so perfectly. I just love it, especially because there have been so many of them recently. So it's kind of like current. So the scientific name was derived from the Greek sea god Glaucus, who happened to be a fisherman prophet that would rescue sailors and fishermen in storms, and eventually he ate a magical herb that made him immortal. So Glaucus itself actually means the color of the sea or glimmering, and I like the glimmering, because they kind of look really shiny if you look at them. It looks surreal.
It looks like something you want to touch.
Yes, but please do not touch. That's how everything is in the wild, I feel like. Anything that's like bright or like has a cool texture is like screams touch me, but you can't. You can't.
Usually should not.
You should not. Anything bright or anything that looks fuzzy, you should probably not touch. Just a general rule. So moving to their habitat, I mentioned that they're washing ashore here in Galveston, but you can actually find these freaky deeks all over the world. In the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian, all over. And it's kind of funny because their preferred position whenever they're in the water is to be lying upside down on the surface of the water. And it's just goofy, but they actually hold air bubbles inside of their bellies that allows them to just like float upside down.
They're just little bloated sea worms.
Yeah, they just like float along the surface. And there is a reason why they're floating upside down, and that has to do with their coloration. And we'll talk about that. Moving forward to biology, the blue dragons sound like they would be massive, right? Because dragons, right? Naturally. But they are very small. They are only about 1.2 inches long or like 3 centimeters.
That's like half a finger.
That is like a fingernail, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said inches.
Yeah, 1.2 inches. That's like what your thumb knuckle is an inch, right? So max the size of your thumb, I would say.
Cute.
Unless you have like really long thumbs. They're small, but they, are dangerous. For coloration, they boast what is called counter shading. And counter shading,
that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. You'll see it in sharks and some other species, and it's really useful for camouflage. And counter shading is when the underside is a different color than the back. So they're two different colors, and typically it's like that for a particular reason. For the blue dragons, their underside is actually going to be bright blue with light blue stripes, and their backs are grayish. Which seems kind of weird, right? You would think the color would be on top.
Right.
But think about it. They're floating upside down. So when they're floating upside down, their bellies being blue helps them blend into the water's surface, right? So if you're looking, like if you're a bird, or something and you're looking at it from above, they blend in.
I was about to say, how are you going to float at the top of the sea and not be...
I know, just food.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how. So they blend in. And then with their backs being gray, it makes them difficult to detect from below. It's almost, exactly like sharks.
So if I'm like a fish swimming and I look up and it's just a massive cloud of gray, I can't see him.
You're not going to see him, right?
What
and the light's going to be getting into it. I know. So the coloration really helps them a lot. And occasionally you do find them floating together in a group called a blue fleet.
Fleet.
What?
Like a little army?
Yeah, I know.
A little army of 1 inch long sea swarms.
Just coming at you. But this ties into the fact that there's so many washing ashore here because the greater mass of the group, like the more they tie together and band together, this causes them to have a greater mass, which ends up making it easier for the waves to bring it into the beach.
Are they supposed to wash up, or that's not supposed to? Okay.
Yeah, they're not supposed to.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it happens. It happens. It's just like not all, but a lot of sea creatures.
You
get caught in the wrong current or something, or with them being so small and light, even the wind can
get thrown around.
Yeah. So in that case, it's not beneficial to be in numbers.
It's not supposed to end up on the shore. Got it.
No. So the blue dragon, they have 3 pairs of tendril-tipped appendages that will decrease in size as it moves towards the end of the body. And
what's a tendril tip?
Yep. So the tendrils, it's the way that I want you to kind of picture them, it's almost like fans or like wings. That's kind of why the blue swallow is, because these tendrils look like little wings.
So if I say the tail of a betta fish, is that...
No.
Well,
it's almost like the tail of a betta fish if
but the coloration
kind of cut
oh.
in it. Yeah, because they're separate. They're like little appendages. They're like tendril, like little. And I'm doing claw hands right now. You cannot see it. So yeah, the claw hands doesn't do it justice, and you may just have to peep at our socials or look it up yourself to kind of put it into perspective. But the best way I can describe it is it does really look like wings or like little fans. And they help add to its crazy appearance. Like, not only are they a super bright blue that doesn't even look real, but they also have these, like, alien-like appendages just, like, jutting out from the side of them. And they're in pairs, so there are, like, 3 pairs of them along the side of the body. It looks pretty cool, in my opinion. Definitely alien-y. I'm going to talk more about these tendrils, too, a little bit in the kind of mini danger zone at the end. Because these guys... do make it to the danger zone. They definitely do. Yeah. And blue dragons, like most sea slugs, they are simultaneous hermaphrodites, which means that each organism will have both male and female reproductive organs.
Ooh.
Yeah, spicy.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, even though they have both of the organs, they're not actually able to reproduce just like by themselves.
What's the point?
Right. Yeah, I know. It's no fun that way. But the reason why they can't do that is because the eggs and sperm that they contain are actually incompatible. So they couldn't, even if they wanted to, like, they have to find another blue dragon.
In terms of evolution, that makes sense.
It
Genetic
does.
Diversity.
Yeah, okay, right. You don't want everybody to be the exact same. Like, parthenogenesis isn't fantastic for...
logistically?
Right, yeah, not the best. And finding a mate for them is like finding a needle in a haystack. So just imagine, these guys are just floating.
Oh.
They're just floating along the surface of the ocean, in all of the oceans.
The entire ocean to find a mate?
Yes, and you kind of wait until you find another one. And it makes sense that they're hermaphrodites, right? Because it's so hard for them to find a mate that when they do, it doesn't matter what sex they are. A boy. Yeah, you don't have to worry about the one that you stumble upon not being the right gender or sex. I guess, yeah, sex would be the proper term. So it does make sense. It's hard to find a partner. So when they do find a partner and they are mating, it is typical for actually both of the organs to be stimulated, both the male and the female, right? Which I thought it would only be like one. But it turns out that both of them are stimulated at the same time. And sometimes a little bite will be taken out of the partner, a little like love bite.
What?
little love bite. Yeah, so I guess we're kind of talking about freaky sex.
I guess, yeah.
A little bit.
We're stumbling in there.
We're stumbling. We're there. So once successful in their mating, the blue dragons will lay a string of around 20 eggs. And what is the most messed up part about these string of eggs is that they'll lay them just about anywhere they can find. Anything that's floating, driftwood, or the carcasses of their victims. Oh. Yeah, they'll just wherever they can. And it only takes 3 days for the eggs to hatch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's quick. They're pumping them out, which makes sense because they don't live for very long. Like most sea slugs, their lifespan is actually quite short. I believe like only a month around there.
Oh.
Yeah, they're short. Not a long time. So for their prey and predators, they really only have a couple of antagonists or bad guys for them, or for the blue dragon. And the main one is loggerhead turtles. Which
how could that thing even... What nutritionist value could
I have no
that
idea.
Provide to
I don't know. But turtles eat jellies too.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
the jelly's like half its size.
But jellies... No, jellies are small. You're saying like the blue dragon is like half the size of like a jelly?
No, I'm saying like if a turtle's gonna eat a jelly, this is the jelly I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Next to my blue dragon, which is gonna provide... I need like a cereal bowl of blue dragons to get a meal.
True. I don't know, but think about whales and krill.
That's true, krill.
Right? Okay. Or the whale shark and krill. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I feel like the jelly does not have a bunch of nutritional value to begin with. So I don't know what these guys are doing. But anyways, loggerhead turtles are the main predator. And also ocean pollution is actually a huge reason.
That's sensitive little guys?
They're sensitive, yeah. A lot of sea slugs, or just invertebrates in general, are incredibly sensitive creatures. So ocean pollution, and then the water's warming up a little bit is causing them to have to like shift location, which is probably why they're showing up here in Galveston, because I've never heard of them showing up here before.
I have not either. I was surprised that,
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen it. I was very happy. I wanted to go down to the beach and get some, but ended up not. Sad. Big sad. So that's their predators. For their prey, get this. So their prey consists of venomous siphonophores, like the Portuguese man-o'-war or the blue bottle. So the blue bottle is maybe not as well known as the Portuguese man-o'-war, but both of these are incredibly venomous jelly-like creatures.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what they eat.
Yeah, that's what they eat. They'll literally float and just like attach onto them and then start munching away. Yeah. And it seems like the blue dragon is immune to the nematocysts, and we've talked about the nematocysts a little bit, I believe.
Yeah.
And to refresh on them, they're just the stinging cells that a lot of jelly-like organisms have. And so they're not harmed by the nematocysts of the Portuguese man-o'-war or the blue bottle. And once they kind of find one, they'll use their radular teeth. Yeah, they have teeth. And it actually resembles a knife's serrated edge.
Nice.
Like, they are sharp teeth,
gnarly
too.
Little dudes.
And they'll grip onto it and use that the radular teeth to, like, scrape and tear chunks out of their prey.
God.
Yeah, so just gnawing away at very venomous creatures casually. And this kind of brings me into our danger zone. Why did my voice crack a little? So, blue dragons are not only able to feed off of the incredibly dangerous creatures, but they're actually able to steal from them as well. So a lot of nudibranchs, this is not just like an exception to the blue dragons, but they're kleptomaniacs. So they will steal from whatever their prey is and kind of take whatever it is for themselves, whether it be algae, whether it be these nematocysts in this situation. But they'll steal the nematocysts while they are feeding, and they will actually store those stinging cells into those tendril-like structures.
I love that for them.
Yeah, so those fans or those wings will be filled with the nematocysts from the Portuguese man-o'-war or the blue bottle or whatever the heck the nudibranch decided to eat.
He said, I'm just going to borrow these things.
Yeah, and it makes them super dangerous because even though they are small, coming into contact with them is the exact same as coming in contact with an actual Portuguese man-o-war or with the blue bottle. So, like, you get the exact kick, you get the exact sting, all from this guy who's super small.
Will I die?
So, that kind of depends, and that's how it is with a lot of jellies. The sting is almost like an allergy.
You're right.
So, some people are affected more by it, but in general, if you come into contact with them, you can expect pain, nausea, vomiting, rashes, hyperpigmentation, and disorientation.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. And so what kind of makes them, I think, in my opinion, the most dangerous to humans is that even when they do wash up onto shore, they have that, like, uh-oh moment. The stinging cells that they carry do not deactivate. So they are still active even after the organism itself has died.
Flashback, throwback to episode 5. Go learn about the harpoon mechanism that she's talking about. And what did we learn about peeing on your sting?
Exactly.
Don't pee on a jellyfish sting.
Don't. Wink, wink.
No, I'm serious. It's actually counterproductive to pee on a jellyfish sting.
It is.
Don't do it.
Yeah, it is. So when you see these blue dragons wash up onto shore or floating along the surface, take care not to touch them. Alive or dead, they're certainly going to make you regret your decision. So do not let the impulsive thought, do not let the parasites.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah, do not.
Parasites.
But the parasites in me. Yeah, because I would want to see it and I'd be like, ooh, it's like one of those creatures.
Touch.
So if you do end up coming in contact with one, because it does happen, and you end up getting stung, what you should immediately do is you should pour hot water and vinegar on the sting. This will actually deactivate the toxins that are in the nematocysts. You can take some pain pills. As the egg said, you don't want to urinate on the sting. You also don't want to rub sand on it.
Ooh.
Or please do not try to put the blue dragon back into the ocean. It is likely not going to work and you're just going to get stung a lot more. So it's not just one and done in those cases. Don't just think it's one sting. Like, you can get stung by numerous nematocysts in there. In extreme cases, a hospital visit may be necessary.
Yikes.
But I do not believe that there have been any recorded deaths from the blue dragon sea slug. Awesome. And that's really all I have for these little freaky guys. It's one of my favorites, and I think it's the perfect nudie to kind of be the first one that I talk about and be the first creature to kick off this series. I'm super excited to be talking about these animals that are, you know, near and dear to us, and it should be a wild ride.
All right, so if you plan on visiting Galveston, enjoy the island life, but look out for some blue dragons.
Yep. Keep an eye out for them. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Freaky Fauna Files for any updates, behind-the-scene content, and discussions about all things weird and wonderful in the world of fauna. Remember, if you guys ever see anything or hear something or know an animal that we want or that you want us to cover, please send it in. We would love to hear what freaky animals you guys have living in your minds rent-free. So
don't forget to send in your questions. Every 5th episode, we try and do a Q&A. So if you have any questions or, like she said, animals you want to cover, send them in, and we'll include them in the next episode.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that's coming up, huh?
Yeah,
we're going to have another Q&A coming up. Yeah, so definitely send in your questions. Send in what questions are riding around in your mind. And until next time, keep your eyes peeled for the unexpected, and may your curiosity continue to lead you on an extraordinary journey. Thanks for listening, and stay freaky.